Our doors are open. Welcome to the House of Wellness.
Today, beating the winter blues by exercising your mood.
Now I feel better.
Living with cancer and fighting the fear.
And why turning on the tunes will turn out good for you.
Sort of in your mind, it feels like a yes.
Stay with us for the show for everyone who wants to live their life just that little bit better.
That's got to be good for your health.
So let's all get well, stay well, live well, and look fabulous.
Right here in the House of Wellness.
We're on.
Hello there, everybody. Nice to be with you. Settle down for the next hour or so dedicated to your health. Fabulous to be sharing it with you too, Zoe. Hi.
Hi, Ed. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Now, today, a hot topic everyone is talking about, and I'm so excited about this, not joking, recycling. We are looking at those hard-to-recycle items and what we can do about them, and its initiative that schools are getting amongst the kids.
Absolutely.
The kids are interested.
We're going to look into it a whole lot later. Back on bench, though, too, with us is our favourite pharmacist, the man with all the answers to your questions. Hello, Gerald.
Hello, Ed. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
If you feel your memory is just playing up a little, I may have the answer for you on the A to Z of vitamins.
Oh, looking forward to that. Now, I don't mind these colder months, but we've all heard the expression, the winter blues, right? It's not just a saying, though, and it does hit some of us more than others.
Yeah, and it's easy to see why winter can be more challenging. It's cold, we tend to be indoors more often, and the idea of heading out for a workout, even when it's a walk in that freezing cold air, it's not attractive.
Yeah, but should we be chucking those trainers to the back of the cupboard so quickly? Exercise can be the key to keeping those winter blues at bay. And joining us today to help us understand is the inappropriately dressed for the middle of winter, Caroline Pemberton.
Thank goodness it's so warm in this studio. Hi, Ed. Hi, Zoe.
Hi.
It is definitely tricky to keep motivated and keep up with our fitness routine in winter, but it does more than you think.
It's a proven fact that during the winter months, most Australians who live in our southern states experience some form of the winter blues. They exercise less, they sleep longer, and they don't socialise anywhere near as much as they do in the summer months. In fact, 35% of Aussies admitted to feeling more down and depressed during winter, and more than a quarter, 28%, believe that winter makes them feel irritable and downright pessimistic. So Australia, it begs the question, what can we all do to beat these winter blues?
See? Now I feel better. You know, winter, it's a tough one because I always feel a little bit lethargic, and to be honest, I hate exercising in the cold. So I choose to do a little bit of boxing, gets me somewhere warm, got no excuses, and I always feel amazing afterwards. I think exercise is the secret to getting through winter.
Put simply, for the vast majority of us, the winter blues are a bummer, but they don't qualify as a serious health hazard. However, for 1 in 300 Australians, wintertime is responsible for a condition called seasonal affective disorder, a debilitating or consuming form of depression. Some theories suggest that a lack of vitamin D brought on by winter's darker, shorter days can have a negative impact on a sufferer's serotonin levels, causing a biological imbalance of feel-good hormones. But luckily, there is one guaranteed way to boost your serotonin, and this is exercise.
All right, good job.
I'm in the burbs on a brisk winter morning, and as always, come rain, hail or shine, Cameron Wilson is running his Mood Active exercise class.
How good are cold, crispy mornings? It's such a good time to just get outside and get amongst it. But these guys aren't out here just burning extra calories or even combating those winter blues. Their class is really, really special.
You see, exercise is a proven treatment for mood conditions such as depression and seasonal affective disorder. And what is special about this class is that the members have actually been referred by healthcare professionals.
For folks who are battling mood disorders, depression, anxiety, etc., it seems to be this perfect kind of mix of the physical activity, so there's the neurotransmitters switching on, the endorphins and all that. But along with that, there's a lot of social engagement, there's a lot of fun, you know, and if it's a group scenario like this, it's just a cheery environment to be in.
These Mood Active classes get straight to the core of what people struggle with in the colder months: exercise and socialising. Diagnosed as bipolar a few years ago, Cam developed these classes with the help from clinicians at Sydney's Black Dog Institute. And in July 2013, he ran the program's very first cardio tennis class. Each session is designed around a 45 to 60-minute skills-based cardio workout that lowers stress and allows people who suffer from mood disorders a way of escaping the negative thoughts that can feed depression.
Have you seen like a noticeable difference in your life and, you know, how you tackle things?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think one thing that I've overcome is isolation. That's the big one for me because I've had isolation pretty much, not feeling a part of a group, and that's been a big issue for me.
So the social aspect is really
absolutely
powerful.
Yeah, we go and do things and, yeah, we go and meet sometimes off court.
A groundbreaking study led by the Black Dog Institute showed that if everyone did just 1 hour of exercise per week, we could reduce reported cases of depression as much as 12%. Dr. Joe Firth has been studying the positive effects of exercise on the human brain.
So exercise influences the brain through multiple neurobiological pathways. Exercise actually has a significant anti-inflammatory effect on the body, and inflammation itself is tied with perhaps perpetuating conditions like depression, so it could be through reducing inflammation throughout the body that exercise has beneficial effects on mental health.
Okay, and now for some final tips to beat those winter blues. First up, get as much sunlight as you can. Open up those curtains and try to let as much light flood into your home or office as possible. Your brain will thank you. Next, if you're feeling down, don't lock yourself away. Confiding in a close friend can go a long way to feeling better about life. And lastly, rug up, get out there and get some exercise, because even though it's cold, your body can actually regulate its temperature better in the cold, meaning you can exercise further and longer, potentially burning more calories so that come summer, you'll be right back on top of your game.
You're about to get... Oh, push up! Oh, yeah, come on! 2, 3...
Good stuff.
Oh my goodness. You know what I'm shocked about is that it's only 1 hour a week that you need to exercise.
Yeah, it's the bare minimum as such. It's amazing. They've done a fascinating study that says that 12% of depression cases could have been prevented by just 1 hour a week.
Wow.
And it's not just some fly-on-the-wall study either. This is a comprehensive study taken over 11 years.
Well, you mentioned the SADs in the story, SAD, so seasonally affected disorder, and I think in different hemispheres it probably really does drag on as a long winter.
Definitely. It can affect some of us, but it tends to affect our buddies in the Northern Hemisphere more because of the shorter days and the lack of sunlight. But at the end of the day, it's about getting out there and getting that vitamin D, getting some light.
Yeah, well, for some of us, the winter months drag on, don't they? They call it the SADs, the SAD, the seasonally affected disorder.
That's it.
It does affect some more than others.
It does. The Northern Hemisphere particularly, because they have such short days and lack of sunlight. But getting out there and getting some vitamin D and getting in some exercise, definitely the key.
Yeah, some really good tips within that story. You mentioned the exposure to sunlight when it's out, just get in there. But the social interaction side was really important.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's not just about our physical bodies. It's also about our mood and getting those serotonin levels fired up.
And you must not feel the cold because you're out there in a singlet, but rug up, get out
That's because I
there
was
and
exercising, you know?
Yeah.
But that's it, yeah. I'm actually, I do tend to get cold.
Just put your workout clothes on the bed.
Yep.
I used to get changed in my bed. And then you can roll. I did because I just didn't want to get cold.
Perfect. Or in the car, just jack up the heat and then just run out.
That's it.
Ready
Good
to
job.
go.
Let's beat those winter blues. If you'd like to follow up that story, find some more of those tips or check on anything that you've seen in the show in recent weeks, it's all up on our website, houseofwellness.com.au.
Or give us a buzz. Hey, Ed, call us. Call GQ 1800 469 788.
And talk about social interaction. Let's be your Facebook friends as well. Follow us, the House of Wellness on Facey.
So much great information coming up on the show today. We're going to meet bachelorette and TV sweetheart Georgia Love.
Great.
Gorgeous girl. And the ultimate winter soup. Perfect time.
Soup for you. Make sure you stay with us. Later, we look into the fear of cancer and how to live with it.
But coming up next, we meet a teenager whose teen spirit will inspire you.
You know, I don't even need to meet the women to know that I've done something.
That and so much more to come here on the House of Wellness. Welcome back, everyone. Well, our house hero this week is a teenager who, inspired by a local charity group, put her own plan to help others into practice.
Yeah, at only 16, Lily Harrison realised the need for support amongst the local homeless and vulnerable women in her community. An extraordinary insight for someone so young.
the joy on their faces at like having something to give to these women and the stories that they bring back to me, it makes me feel like I've done something. And then, you know, I don't even need to meet the women to know that I've done something, because I know that there's women out there who probably nobody sees because they're kind of hidden, but that they're getting some help. My name's Lily, I'm 16 and I'm from the Northern Rivers of New South Wales. The name of my initiative is Period Pack, and I supply homeless women and vulnerable women in my area with access to hygiene and sanitary products. When it comes to a choice between food and like pads, often, you know, it's food. I started with contacting a bunch of friends and family, and they donated money or products. And then if it's money, I go and buy the products that I need myself. So pads, tampons, soap. And then with some friends or by myself, I make it into a pack. And then I drop them to networks throughout the community. So soup kitchens, houses, women's health centres, and then they distribute it to the communities that need it for me. A lot of the donations I get from businesses are one-off, so I'm trying to find some continual support. I also have a GoFundMe page, and, you know, all of the money and all of the product that's donated goes straight back to the women. Yeah, there's no middle person. I don't get anything out of it, other than, you know, being able to help.
I got really emotional because it was unusual to meet a young woman at Lily's age who did so much for others. She's incredible.
This is something that I can do that helps other people and that doesn't take a whole lot of extra time out of my day. That's something that gives back to your community and gives back to people who need a helping hand.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an incredible initiative, and for someone so young, I'm incredibly impressed. Good on you, Lily.
Fabulous young lady. So great to see someone who is so young giving back so much to the community. And as we saw in the story, Lily relies heavily on donations to help her foundation. So we wanted to get involved too and help her cause. So from all of us here at the House of Wellness, we've donated over $500 worth of products to Lily.
I just want to say a really big thank you to Ed and Zoe from the House of Wellness for these great products. I can't wait to distribute them to women in need.
So good to see she got those. That's a recent posting this week from her Instagram page. And if you'd like to get involved, this is her Instagram feed, or you can head to thehouseofwellness.com.au for more information.
Yes. Now, our next story has affected me personally, and I'm sure so many of you out there. So if cancer has touched you or someone you love, you need to watch this next story.
Now, every year, the lives of thousands of Australians and their families are touched by cancer. In 2017, it was estimated that over 134,000 new cases were diagnosed. That's an average of nearly 370 each day.
Yes, and for those of you who are living with cancer, it can be a incredibly challenging and fearful time. So how do we cope with that when we're facing the fear?
Joining us today to help us understand what it means to live with this disease is author and two-time cancer survivor Josie Thomson. Welcome back, Josie.
Hello.
Now, I can remember the moment my mum told me she had cancer, where I was, and becoming so overwhelmed with emotion myself, but thinking now back how she must have been feeling. How is that? Like, how do you deal with all of that new emotion?
Well, fear just takes hold of us so quickly and swiftly, and it doesn't affect just the cancer patient, it affects everybody who loves that person. It's paralysing, it's crippling, and it literally freezes your capacity to think straight.
So fear is that massive emotion. It's so hard for us to cope. How do you cope when you're faced with something like cancer?
It's not a one-size-fits-all. I think the easiest thing to think about is that fear is a thought, and we are choosing our thoughts. But when we're faced with something that we hadn't predicted, it throws us off guard. And therefore, we need to be able to just breathe, settle ourselves down, and realise that where we focus our attention actually grows. So where focus goes, energy flows. So if we're fearful and we focus on the fear, we're actually feeding that.
Yeah, because I know when I was only 21 dealing with this, I wasn't quite capable of dealing with my emotions. I deflected, I went out and partied and distracted myself. How do family members that are dealing with this kind of shock manage?
Family, whether you're a family member or the cancer patient, it's going to be the same. It's really about managing your focus. So if you're focusing on not feeling something, you're actually going to feel it even more. So it's important to focus your attention on what you actually want rather than trying to focus away from something.
Right.
Yeah.
So focus on what you actually want. So I want to feel calm. I want to feel clear-headed, because that's where I'm going to make the best decisions from.
I love the way you've tackled this. And one of my good friends is going through his own cancer journey, the first one in our group to do it. He's one of the most positive men you'll ever meet, and he's defying sort of all sorts of cancer survival type blood tests and so on, just virtually purely with positivity. And I think that's a big part of it. You can kind of choose your thoughts, as you said.
You also choose whether you become bitter or better. So our experiences don't define us. They can actually create us. So we can either choose to channel towards feeling like a victim, that this is all happening to me, or reframe it and think about, how could this actually be happening for me? What am I being invited to learn here?
Wow.
It's interesting, right? Because there are so many stages. There's the shock, there's the denial, anger can set in, and that can be a really big one for both the cancer patient and the family member.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the anger? Do you have to process that?
Anger is the most misunderstood of all emotions. It is the most passionate. You only get angry about things you're passionate about. And we're passionate about life. We're passionate about living. We're passionate about having some kind of predictability to our lifeline. So the important thing is to take full responsibility for where you're at.
Right.
So stop looking for answers and blame outside of you. What can you do right now to take responsibility for what you're wanting?
All right, we've got to go through some of these tips because they're absolutely priceless, Josie. I love this one. Reframe the fear that comes with the diagnosis. So fear is a thought, it's not a fact. Say that again. Fear is a thought, not a fact. So change your narrative, I think, with the words you said. And where energy flows... Goes.
Where focus goes, energy flows.
Got it. So focus on what you want. And I think you said that nice one, become better, not bitter.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, terrific stuff. Great tips, and nice to have you back here on the sofa with us.
Thank you.
If you'd like to find out a little bit more information on that, some of those valuable tips that Josie mentioned, head to our website. We cover them off on thehouseofwellness.com.au. Make sure you stay with us. There's more coming up right after this. And yes, we're beaming out right across Australia on the 7 Network and the Prime Network, a show helping you live a better life.
Later, TV personality Georgia Love will be joining us to share her tips for health, beauty and, of course, love.
There she is. We're going to love talking to you soon. But coming up, a winter soup that'll warm the cockles of your heart. Oh, I love a hearty soup. Stay with us. We're blitzing and mixing next on the House of Wellness. There we go, another nutritious to delicious creation from healthy chef Zoe Bingley pulling the winter green soup.
And you know, I do love some bone broth. It is a good punch of nutrition and an all-rounder for gut, bone and joint health. And do you know it supports collagen? It helps us with anti-aging.
Does it?
Hey, JQ, am I right?
Perfect. Zoe, I'm learning something from you every week.
I like you don't have to boil the carcass down with that. You get it from the satchel.
Yeah, for the concentrate. Yeah.
From the satchel. Now, it is that time again for your calls. Let's jump onto them. 1800 469 788 is our number, by the way. Renee, first up from Bateman's Bay, New South Wales. How can we help you?
I'd just like some advice on how to break my chocolate addiction.
I hear you, sister.
Why would you break it? It's so delicious.
And it's more a craving rather than an addiction, Renee, but it can become a problem because too much chocolate can actually boost the waistline just a little.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at alternatives. You can bear in mind that when you eat chocolate, it gives you an emotional relief, helps your serotonin levels, helps you feel good.
That's a real thing. It boosts the chemicals in the brain.
Absolutely, it does. So you can still do that without just stopping it straight off. That's tough. And you never go past the fridge with a half-empty block of chocolate in there, do you? Ever. So slowly withdraw, Renee. Exercise. We talked exercise earlier with Caroline. It's a great way to distract. It stops you being bored at home. Get out and go for a walk. Don't take the chocolate with you as a companion. Don't take the chocolate in your pocket. Go away and have some exercise. Keep your hydration levels up. You can do it.
All right. So save us a little treat. Good luck with that. Now, an email from Patricia from Leppington in New South Wales. She's asked, I've tried many underarm deodorants but suffer with irritations.
Yes.
Can you advise me?
It's a difficult thing because once the irritation starts up, it just tends to propagate. So what you've got to do, Patricia, make sure you've got plenty of room in shirts and blouses. Keep the area nice and clean. When you come home from being dressed up, get into something nice and loose. And there are some antiperspirant powders that you can use. So that keeps what tends to be a moist area that's hot, tends to cool it down, keep it dry.
Because I know those natural deodorants, and I've tried them before, not so helpful on the odour.
No, and that can be a problem. And
Well,
that's
yes,
where the
you're
powders...
sitting next to me, indeed.
Okay, that's where the powders tend to be a benefit,
Okay.
yes.
What are you doing? You're whipping yourself with birch leaves or something?
Yes.
Don't worry about my concoctions.
Let's get to Eileen. She's on the line from Danny in Victoria. What's your query?
I'm wondering if you can tell me something to relieve wind out of your stomach.
Yeah, some tummy discomfort.
Probably bloating, Eileen, and that tends to be just poor digestion. So digestive enzymes and a probiotic, eating more slowly, smaller mouthfuls, and that usually will correct itself fairly quickly. But the enzymes and the probiotic are fundamental.
All right, an email here. People can reach you via our House of Wellness website. Melissa is asking you, we're thinking about baby number 2. The doctors advised me to take a multi for 3 months before trying. Any idea of the best one?
Look, there are some fantastic products on the market. The ones that are considered best now contain some iodine because some research a few years ago showed, particularly along the eastern seaboard, many women are low in iodine levels. So that's the thing you have.
All righty. You can reach out to us and ask any questions via the website. houseofwellness.com.au is the site to head for.
And give us a ring-a-ding, 1800 469 788.
Also, we are available 24/7 via Facebook as well. Look for the House of Wellness as well.
Coming up, how our kids are beating the recycling crisis, and it's easier than you think.
But after the break, why turning up the tunes can keep you alive.
It's really amazing.
Power of music.
It's music to your ears and health. Stay with us with a House of Wellness. Welcome back. Now, as we know, music can make us all feel good, whether that's listening to it, singing it or playing it. Indeed, that great musical philosopher Justin Bieber said it all when he sang Despacito, a la mama la caracha. That song that you can't get out of your head.
Well, I hope that this helps your Bieber fever. But what happens to our brain when we play music? Well, something good must happen because recent studies show that music can assist treatments of brain injuries, Alzheimer's and dementia, and can even help kids struggling academically.
La mama la caracha. We thought we need to make a song and dance about this one, so we sent Joe Stanley out in search of music for the mind.
I couldn't live without music. It's the first thing I hear when my alarm goes off in the morning. It gets me through my exercise, peak hour traffic, housework. It connects me with my daughter and my husband and all the greatest moments of my life. But how does music evoke emotion? And can it have the power to improve brain disorders?
When we listen to music, it's processed in many different areas of the brain.
Well, I guess if you think about what music is, it's a collection of sounds which are, reverberations in the air. They go through into your ear, which then sends electrical signals to the brain. So that's when we hear a sound or another sensory input, we activate not only the sensory areas but also the emotion areas and the memory areas.
But it wasn't until the 1990s when advances in brain imaging revealed music's true impact on our grey matter. We now know that music activates every known part of the brain, especially the regions that control our memory and our emotions.
What the trigger is in terms of what makes a song great or what makes a song emotionally lifting is sort of dopamine-rich networks, and dopamine is the reward chemical in the brain, and that then produces that feeling, you know, that happy or content feeling that we get if we hear a great piece of music.
Science has proven that music stimulates our brain chemistry in the same way eating chocolate or orgasms do. Listening to it or playing an instrument has the power to make us smarter, happier and healthier at all stages of life. And it's for these very reasons that music is now being used to fight dementia. And for Ray McDermott, the fight to maintain his quality of life in the face of dementia is slowly getting harder and more frustrating.
I'm starting to realise now that the old brain, she's not as good as she used to be. I get a bit disappointed sometimes now, and I go home and have a talk to Kay and say, you know, did I make a go to myself over the club today? I remember I said something, you know. It's just that I feel a little bit lack of confidence in myself now.
In 2018, there's over 425,000 Australians battling the disease. It affects their thinking, behaviour, and it can be completely debilitating.
You know, some days are worse than others, but we get by, don't we?
Yes.
You know, you just, there's not much you can do about it, so your hope is, you know, that it's a good day, and when it is a good day, you enjoy it.
To help make more days good days, each week Kay and Ray participate in a fantastic program called Move and Groove.
And little doggy paws, everyone. And a little cry. Shoving a tail. Well, they said you were...
This is a specialised senior silent disco developed in conjunction with music therapists and dementia specialists. The aim is to use music to reconnect sufferers with both their memories and their surrounds.
So Move and Groove is very, very immersive. They hear not only the music that's from the 30s, 40s, 50s, but they also hear audio over the top of us speaking. A good beat, a lovely song, when they may have gone to dances during wartime, all sorts of things that, yeah, just bring an amazing experience back to life for them.
With the music, he's tuned out from everything else.
I relax a lot. I like music. I can remember when we danced at the Marrickville CYO, and that's where we met and fell in love. And did we fall in love then or not?
I think we did.
Now, if you want more evidence of how music affects our brains, look no further than Connor Nelson. Brain scans of thousands of musicians conducted by the University of Montreal revealed that the two sides of their brain are better at communicating than non-musicians. As a result, our young cellist here will have better memory, faster deductive skills and finer motor control. But according to Connor, mastering a new piece of music and the feeling he gets when he plays his instrument makes his day just that little bit brighter.
Sort of in your mind, it feels like a yes. I finally got it. I've got this piece. You get into the instrument and you just play a song, and you're focused on the song, and you can take your mind off the world being bad if you think it's like that. You can take your mind off that.
However, if you don't play an instrument, fear not, because 9 out of 10 Aussies listen to music for an average of 24 hours every week. And this is certainly enough music to be good for the brains of non-musicians as well. However, if you are in any doubt as to how music is helping people cope with dementia, then I wanted to leave the last word to Sally from Move and Groove.
We definitely have had some amazing things happen. I actually had a lady that was in very high level of dementia. Her communication skills were almost non-existent. In a particular class, she was tapping. She will tap to the beat of that exact song. So she was engaged in that moment, and at the end of it, she said more. It was phenomenal.
Incredibly
it was
moving.
phenomenal. Yeah, it was really amazing.
The power of music.
Yeah.
You are a happy little dancer, Jo, aren't you?
I love music, don't you?
Love it. It's such a feel-good thing.
It's nice, though, that it's kind of confirming what we always suspected and scientifically proven now that music and that rhythm is actually helping our brains develop and improve.
It is an amazing thing that now neurologists and therapists are seeing the link between music and people with even acquired brain injuries, Alzheimer's, depression. It lifts your mood, you know, and it has got a physical impact to the brain. It's amazing.
And so it doesn't matter what you listen to, like Despacito, it's good for you.
I think it's about the rhythm,
Right.
definitely about certain chord progressions, and I'm not sure if they've done scientific research into Justin Bieber, but they should, because he really does lift something in you.
Yeah.
Look, with respect, we're old radio DJs
Yes.
from way back. Our brains will clearly be donated to science. Is there any advice you would give us when it comes to listening to music? Does the beat, the tempo matter?
Look, I think that there is some correlation between your major chords, which are sort of happy chords, and your minor chords, which can feel a little bit sorrowful, but I think that's great too. Isn't it awesome when you're feeling a little bit moody to put on a bit of Adele, sing your heart out,
Cry
just
your heart
release
out.
that, cry your heart out? It's fantastic.
Do you guys sometimes just put the sad songs on and you're in your car and you imagine you're in a music video that's really sad?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm more your Michael Bublé guy, but anyway. Nice
Of course you are.
Great work. Keep that house music going too, Joe.
Oh, always.
Thanks for that, Joe. Don't forget too, the House of Wellness is everywhere. You can catch us on radio Sunday mornings on the House of Wellness edition.
Yes, and we're beaming out on the airwaves right across the country. Lots of great information there.
All right, now you'd have to have been living under a rock for the last 20 years if you didn't know the importance of recycling. It reduces waste, prevents pollution and saves valuable resources.
Yes, and it seems like most of us aren't living under rocks because, according to a 2015 Australian National Waste Report, although we produced 64 million tonnes of waste that year, we recycled 60% of that, so not bad.
That is good, isn't it? But what about the other 40%? Can we do better? Joining us from Cincinnati via Skype is Tom Szaky, who is the founder and CEO of Terracyle. Nice to have you with us, Tom.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks, Ed and Zoe, for having me on.
We're getting the hang of this recycling. It's a hot topic in Australia at the moment. How are we going as a country?
You know, all in all, Australia is doing better than it thinks. Folks, when I've been out in Australia, you know, they always think that they're not as good, and it's actually quite pretty good overall. But there are still things that are not being recycled. You know, whether it's toothbrushes or cosmetics or other things. And it all comes down, you know, you have to look at recycling like urban mining. Recyclers are out there collecting what is valuable, what they can make money at, and what they cannot is what ends up in our landfills and our incinerators.
So what was the main reason for starting Terracyle?
The idea of Terracyle has always been to eliminate the idea of waste. And we do that by effectively making things that are not recyclable, say like toothpaste tubes and toothbrushes and many other things, nationally recyclable, letting people collect it for free and us finding really amazing solutions for it.
Alrighty, so that leads us to your current Australian initiative. It's the Colgate Community Garden Challenge. It's running through Chemist Warehouse. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. So we're thrilled to be working both with Chemist Warehouse and Colgate to nationally collect and recycle oral care waste, things like your toothbrushes, your toothpaste tubes, your dental floss, and all these things. So you can use any product and send it in. Through the support of Colgate, we give free shipping and even a small donation for every piece of waste you collect to any local Australian school or charity of your choice.
Because I had no idea you could recycle a toothbrush. But tell me, how can schools get involved?
So the easiest way is to go to terracycle.com.au, and you can go to then /Colgate Garden. And what's really exciting about the partnership with Chemist Warehouse is that through exclusively this partnership, we're giving away 5 recycled gardens made entirely from used Australian toothpaste tubes and toothbrushes, as well as other cool things made from toothpaste tubes, like here's a pencil case made from your used toothpaste tubes. Yeah, there you are.
Cool.
So for schools to get involved, what do they need to do?
So it's really easy. You would just go to terracycle.com.au, our local Australian website. There you'll find the Colgate program and you sign up. It's entirely free. And just send us your used toothpaste tubes and toothbrushes, and then also vote for the school that you'd like to see receive the recycled gardens made from the waste that you collect.
Isn't that awesome?
That's a
Thank
great
you,
idea.
Tom, so much. What an initiative.
Yeah.
And now our kids can go and make these awesome gardens that are sustainable and ethical.
And this is from like old toothpaste tubes.
I know.
It's really clever, little pencil cases.
I never knew you could recycle a toothbrush.
Fantastic stuff.
Fantastic.
We've got more bins to put out now, an extra one. The yellow, the blue, the green.
The Terracyle.
And the toothpaste one, but thanks. Live from Cincinnati, thanks to Tom Szaky there. More to come here on the House of Wellness. Coming up, memory problems. We may have the solutions on the A to Z of vitamins.
But next, we meet Georgia Love and hear about her life outside of reality TV.
Yes, she has accepted our rose and will be with us right after this break on the House of Wellness. Welcome back, everyone. Our next guest burst onto our TV screens and into our hearts on that reality dating show where she got to choose Lee, the man of her dreams.
And here to share her secrets on love, life and its challenges is the Bachelorette's sweetheart, Georgia Love.
Hi, Georgia.
Oh, hello. What a nice intro. Thank you.
I know, you're a busy lady. So much happened through the Bachelorette. How has this changed your life? I mean, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, gosh, there's pretty much no aspect of my life that's the same as it was before the show. Not just because of the show, but I mean, beforehand I was living in Tasmania. I was reading the news down there. Obviously, was single.
Yeah.
And since then, all of those things have changed. I'm based in Melbourne now. Obviously, you know, went on to have a different job and a different career path from there. And I lost my mum straight after the show as well. I've got a beautiful partner now. Everything's changed. So it's really hard to pinpoint anything, really.
It's all changed.
Yeah.
Now, you were on the cover of Our magazine and you did discuss having some really tough times. You just mentioned losing your mum. I mean, gosh, you're in such a tough situation, right, in a show and your mum's got pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, so when I went on to start filming the show was when she had just been diagnosed, and that was one of my huge deciders in actually doing the show. It really, it's all the cliches. It makes you reassess your life. It gives you that moment of, oh God, where am I? Where do I want to be? So I just jumped into it. The opportunity came into my lap and I jumped on it and went and did the show and had mum's full support.
Yes.
But then she went downhill much faster than anyone could have expected and ended up passing away literally 24 hours after the finale of Bachelorette went to air. So
wow.
Lee and I had 24 hours where we were allowed to be a couple, and then everything changed.
I was saying to Zoe before, you're one of those people that just radiates this gorgeousness. And we think outwardly the life of a journalist is all glamour, but there's crazy hours, long hours. How do you keep a little bit of a beauty and balance in your life?
Yeah, gosh. Well, thank you, first of all. I think a lot of it is staying positive and not letting things get to you. And I make sure that in my downtime, which is probably very few and far between minutes of downtime, I do really like to take care of myself. You know, I like to treat myself and kind of, you know, eat what I want when I want and things like that, but also treat my body well. And that goes with, you know, my kind of regime as well. I've got a really strict regime, which sounds like a bad thing, but I say that as a positive thing.
So tell me, this regime, skin, is that Palmer's?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, absolutely. So I got involved with Palmer's because I've loved it since I was about 14.
Smells so good.
It's so good, and it's just so good for you. I feel like my skincare regime at the start and the end of the day, I don't need to, you know, go to a day spa and have that beautiful full day experience because I love what I use on my own skin. And honestly, they've got the most beautiful face care range, which I'm obsessed with. And I'm always getting compliments on my soft skin because the body oil.
This is why I said you radiate the gorgeousness.
Wow.
It's actually just the oil, the coconut oil.
Okay, talking about gorgeousness, your hair.
Oh.
It's always zoom, you know. And how is that like a lot of pressure to have beautiful hair? Like, how do you keep it beautiful?
Well, the funny thing with my hair is I always thank you. When people compliment me on my hair, they go, "Oh, you're so lucky. Your hair's so good." My hair's not naturally good at all. It's really curly. It's really coarse.
No.
So I have to do so much to it. Yeah, I know I do. I did like a Brazilian straightening treatment when I was younger. But because I work in TV, I do so much to it. I use so many heat products like blow drying and straightening every day. So I have to do so much work to my hair to keep it good and put a lot of protein in it. Palmer's actually, we have a deep conditioning protein pack, which is just a lifesaver because my hair would just be broken and brittle and dry if I didn't look after it like
Please
that.
do a news bulletin one day with the frizz.
I won't.
Hey, look, no pressure. Tim Robards got married a couple of weeks ago. Sam Woods had the baby. Georgia Love, update.
Please, leave her alone.
Lee and I are fine and happy and great, and we have a cat, so
yeah.
That's enough for now.
That's your exclusive.
So nice to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
3 of us on the couch. When we come back, there can be only 2. Bachelor.
I got it.
Stay with us. More coming up here on the House of Wellness. Welcome back to the show. A to Z of Vitamins time. Nice to have your company. Gerald's back with us as well. We all have these sort of moments of memory loss. Mine are a bit more frequent, like, what was I going to say? Where are my car keys? Is there anything that kind of boost up our memory function, you think?
There is a herb, Ed, called ginkgo biloba, which is classed, it's a lovely name.
Biloba.
A tree that's been, in fact, it's a bit like, it's a living fossil, Ed, a bit like you, and it's been around for a long time. And essentially what it does is open up capillaries, so it drives circulation into extremities.
Okay.
Fingers, toes, so if you've got cold hands, cold feet, perfect.
That's me.
Memory, so we're feeding circulation into the brain. We're feeding nutrients into the brain. It has an amazing number of functions, and it's the sort of thing that probably, as we're being put under the pump all the time to have instant memory and recall, it's worth just keeping in mind.
I'm quite sure my brain is as full as can be, so any help would be appreciated. Something like this ginkgo biloba might help an organ that needs a lot of blood flow, a lot of oxygen.
That's the idea. But the important thing is that it drives circulation. Very common we're coming into winter, cold hands, cold feet. Something to help circulation down into those areas is important.
How often can we take something like this?
Normally once a day.
Okay.
It's a once a day dose, usually a high potency dose. Perfect.
Okay, fantastic info. The A to Z of Vitamins brought to us by Go Healthy for healthy energy and vitality. Try New Zealand's #1 premium supplements, now available in Australia. Guys, that is a wrap. You too. I tell you what, it's been another great week on the House of Wellness. What got you thinking today?
You know, just that whole thing about cancer and how to deal with it, that was probably my takeaway and something really valuable for everyone out there.
Great information. Next week, we're going to look into the superfoods of the future on the show and how to say no to your friends without losing the friendship. That really can be a tricky one. If you're after more info from the show, just head to our website, houseofwellness.com.au. See you guys soon. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to our friends at Chemist Warehouse. Have a healthy and well week, everyone.
See ya.